Mad Lad Meki, King of the Demon Realm. So going through this one, set 19. We have our Mechikabura leader here. He is a wish leader, starting to age a little bit, but a fantastic rogue pick for your control and mid-range options still. Quickly running through the leader, he has a permanent here. You can only include 7 Dragon Balls in your deck. That's pretty normal for a wish leader. He's got an auto on swing. You're grabbing 2 Dragon Balls from either your life or your deck and shuffling the areas you looked through. So pretty much a +2 on swing there, which is fantastic. A lot of the old wish decks, they don't let you swing to gain that. They just rest themselves. He actually is a attacker though, which is fantastic. And then your Wish Awaken at the bottom here is once you have 7 Dragon Balls in your drop, you can flip him over, untap 1 and draw 1. Before flipping him over, however, this is where the age starts to come into it a little bit. You see newer wish decks like Sin Shenron, who have an alternate awaken condition. They just need the Z energy, not specifically the balls. It would be nice if this deck could awaken at 4 or less in case you are getting aggroed down. Apart from that though, the rest of it, perfect, wouldn't change a thing. On this side, once you flipped over, you have a similar auto here, just to draw a card when you attack. And your other activate mains are your choices. So activate main here, bottom deck a card from hand. You can steal one of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost 4 or less, negate its skills for the game and switch it to active mode. So that allows you to swing with your opponent's cards, so they're sort of punished for investing into cards. And the other effect here, you remove your 7 Dragon Balls from the game, still bottom deck a card from hand, but you gain triple attack. I really probably wouldn't focus on this one until you are into your kill turn, because you want to focus on gaining as much value as possible in this deck, which is stealing the cards. A lot of people look at it as a +3 because your leader gets to swing 3 times and draw a card. However, you are bottom decking a card as a cost for that, so essentially it's a +2. Still fantastic, just something to keep in mind. A lot of your cards require Dragon Balls in the drop to play as well, so don't do that lightly, getting rid of them all and shutting down half your deck. Moving on from that though, into our core pieces. We've got our 4 Dark Empire Balls and 3 regular Dragon Balls. So this one at the top, we are pitching it from hand, as well as another Dragon Ball, a Demon Realm Race, Demon God, whatever else in that category. You draw 2 cards to replace the cards you pitched, and your opponent warps a card from their drop to their warp, battle card specifically. So it is their choice, but it's really good to prevent them from overwhelming, getting sparking, all those other effects. This one down the bottom here as well, 0 energy. You can either activate battle, pitch it from hand to give one of your cards 5,000 combo power, same as the old Dragon Ball 4-star ball, for example, and then activate main. You can pitch it from hand to warp one of your opponent's battle cards on board 1 energy. Black Mask Sane is a huge out to this deck because a lot of our cards are playing for 1 energy and they're 15k or less by a skill. However, he gives you a natural out to Mask Sane as well, which is good. Moving on from those though, once we get all 7, we are awakened and we're playing the game. 3 of your Senzu Beans for the deck. So this one, Darkness Judgment, it's a normal negate for 1, just stop the attack. Otherwise, you have a permanent here. If you've got 3 or more cards in your warp, you can activate, 3 or more cards in opponent's warp, sorry, you can activate this card for free. Choose one of your cards and give it 5,000 power for the turn, on your opponent's turn specifically. So you can Senzu Bean your leader, one of your battle cards you want to keep alive, whatever else it is. Awesome defensive tool though. 3 token negates, pretty mandatory in most decks at the moment, and your 3 Kai negates. You won't personally have 3 cards in the warp, but your opponent will, so she's almost always live, probably from turn 3 onwards. That is your small defensive package for the deck though. Getting through that, mess with the ratios yourself as well if you want to change things. We have our super combos. Toa, of course, it's themed. It's a Demon Realm. She's Sparking 5, draw a card, which you should have from turn 2 considering all your Dragon Balls go to the drop. It's just nice having a super combo you can use at higher life. That's where the game's going at the moment. The fact that she's searchable as a Demon Realm with some cards as well is awesome. Moving on though, we have our 4 Poutine Floodgate. Personally, this is not a card I would rely on to win games unless it's absolutely necessary. It feels terrible to topo your opponent 3 to 4 turns in a row and win off the back of that simply because they don't have an answer. However, she is mandatory at some points in the game. The fact that God Sealing and Resolve Renewed aren't in the meta at the moment means that she can actually be played safely for the most part, apart from a few things. She is a 2 energy counter attack, so she stops the attack from going through, plays herself, and then the auto at the bottom is fantastic. Optionally, you can choose a card from your hand, place it at the bottom of your deck. If you do, your opponent can't swing for the turn unless they warp 2 from hand. So essentially topo, but the fact that you get to choose means if she's countered, you don't lose that extra card in hand. Most of the time, you're probably only playing resolving one of these a game, but it is nice to be at a 4 of now. It is an extra target to pitch with your balls because she's a Demon Realm race. Moving on from that though, we have our Self-Awakeners and the actual tools of the deck. We have 4 Kai, Brainwashed. She's pretty much similar to all the old ones. She's a new promo though. 10k Servant, so 20k essentially. Doesn't restand though. Limit 1 on the auto here. When you either play her or you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and take control of it, steal it, your opponent warps 1 from hand. So it's a bit of hand destruction in that regard. And then the activate main here is the same as the other ones. You can pay 1 to play her if you've got 2 Dragon Balls in your drop or more. And you can search your deck for 2 more Dragon Balls to put them in your drop. So Self-Awakening. To match that one, we have the Toa. She has the same effect where she can be played for 1 if you have 2 or more Dragon Balls in your drop, and you can sack some more. On play though, she warps a battle card and your opponent warps 1 from hand and draws 1 to replace it. Good for getting those cards in the warp, good for removal, and then she's a blocker if she survives the next turn. Salsa, similar thing. Pay 1 if you've got 2 or more Dragon Balls, sack more Dragon Balls to play him. Auto, when he swings, he draws a card, and on play, your opponent warps 1 from hand and draws 1. Same thing, filling up the warp. On tack, he warps 1 of their battle cards in their drop as well, filling up the warp even more. That's really what this deck revolves around, and a lot of the cards focus on. Fantastic for, again, preventing sparking or draw rapes from being in there, things like that. Few tech pieces now. We have our Shin. Fantastic counter to some of those big boss monsters coming down. 1 energy draw card is always good. It's a good turn 1 play. But he does stop those 7 or more from swinging if you've got 3 or less energy. You can stall at 3 energy for a few turns if you really feel that's value town, but most of the time, he's probably only a turn 1, 2, or 3 player. Smoke Dragon works perfectly in this deck. It's a deflect 2-drop battle card, can't swing, but that is absolutely fine. 3 effects. The first one, draw 2 cards if you've got 7 or more between you and your opponent in the drop. You should turn 2 or 3 with those 7 Dragon Balls, which count. So he's always live for a draw 2, which is what I use it for most of the time. His other 2 effects can blow up a Unison or a battle card, ignoring barrier, which is awesome for the deck. You didn't have barrier removal really before, so that gives you that tool. 3 of your King Vegeta, another awesome card for the deck. He's a barrier double strike. Comes down for 2 energy if your opponent has 3 or more in the warp, which they should thanks to all those other cards' effects. On play, you can either blow up a battle card, which is again awesome, more removal, or you can snipe a card out of their hand, Cell Kamehameha style. Another good effect, bit of hand destruction. A big thing here on this one though, he has an auto. When your opponent swings at your leader with any of their cards, once per turn, they have to warp a card from their hand as attacks. Most of the time though, your opponent will gun at this card if it's in rest mode, and they will waste 4 to 5 attacks at this card alone instead of just pitching 1 from hand. It does feel like a bit of a bait in that regard, so if you want to get out of a few more swings, play this down. You have your Darkness Judgment, which is in hand and can bean it up, so they have to waste even more resources to get rid of it. A lot of the time you see your opponent combo 3 to 4 cards just to get rid of this thing instead of warping the 1 card from hand to swing at your leader, which is absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, moving on from that one. Got a few of our final pieces in the deck, all one-offs. You have your Seeker, of course. We're playing Cumber. He works perfectly with the theme of the deck. You're stealing battle cards, which triggers your Kai promo. Now is an awesome interaction, and you're critting 1 of their life, which is good for that late game. 1 Chomper to finish the game. 1 Ginyu. You're stealing your opponent's battle cards, so you can send it to the drop and play this for free. It's essentially another beater for you. 20k double. It loses 10 on your opponent's turn, but that's absolutely fine, just to push more damage. And you've got your Masked Saiyan. He is there as a final push with Overwhelm once you've gotten rid of your Dragon Balls and those 3 swings. However, he's good for the utility of not taking doubles or triples as well. The final 2 cards in our deck, we have 2 Unisons. So, running Mirror this time. Big thing to him, he's a 3 cost, which means he can't get hit by smoke. He's a 20k with a +1, so he is hard to kill. And he has amazing synergy with the deck. He's got an auto here at the top. When you pass to your opponent and it hits their main phase, you can choose one of your skillless battle cards and give it blocker for the turn. You can't unfortunately, choose one of the cards you've stolen with your leader because its skills are negated for the game. You can, however, choose tokens or other cards that you make skillless with Cumber, for example. So for this one, you've got an activate main +1 here. You can play 2 tokens that have 5k combo power, 5k attack power. So essentially you're +1 and giving yourself 10,000 combo power, or you're setting up for those skillless plays. The other +1 though, if you remove one of your skillless cards from the game, you can warp one of your opponent's cards and draw a card, which is amazing value. Like I said before, you can set up with the +1 the turn before and then do that in the next turn, or activate your leader effect, steal one of your opponent's battle cards, make it skillless, swing at their leader with their own battle card, blow it up, and warp another one of their cards and draw one for absolutely no energy. That's crazy. Good interaction, and it's just, it feels bad for your opponent. That is Mechie at the moment in the meta though. It's a fantastic contender against decks like Crimson, who just seem to plus a ridiculous amount of cards. They can almost never awaken unless they just dump 5 on their awaken turn. So if you're an experienced player with Mechie, it is hard to lose a game against Crimson. Thanks for checking that one out though. We'll get a few more profiles on the channel as we go. That has been Mechie and Supreme Kai done this week though. Awesome guys. See you next time.